Do you ever feel like your money just vanishes, no matter how much you make? I was stuck in that exact same boat, living paycheck to paycheck, until I found 5 invisible money traps that were secretly draining my account. By cutting just these 5 things, I saved over 2,000 in a year. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what they are so you can do it too. It's a frustrating feeling, right? You work hard, you get paid, you handle your bills, and it seems like you should have a decent amount left over. But then you check your bank account a week later, and it's like a magician came and went. The money is just gone. You're not buying yachts or designer clothes, so where is it all going? For years, that was my story. I thought I was being responsible. I had a budget, or, a vague idea of one in my head. I wasn't making any huge, crazy purchases. Still, I was constantly stressed about money, wondering how I'd cover a surprise car repair or a last-minute flight for a family emergency. It felt like I was running on a financial treadmill, working hard but going absolutely nowhere. Building a real savings account, let alone investing, felt like a dream for other people. The turning point came one night when I was trying to figure out if I could afford a weekend trip with friends. I pulled up my bank statements, ready to find out where my money was really going. And what I found was shocking. It wasn't one big obvious expense holding me back. It was something way sneakier. It was death by 1,000 tiny, stupid purchases. I call them money traps because they're designed to be almost invisible. They play on our desire for convenience, our fear of missing out, and our simple, everyday routines. But once I saw them, I started to fight back. I made a conscious choice to cut them out of my life, one by one. And the result was wild. In just 12 months, without a single raise or making any huge sacrifices to my quality of life, I had an extra 2,000 sitting in my savings account. So today, I'm pulling back the curtain on my own finances to share the 5 everyday money traps that were keeping me broke. I'm going to break down what they are, how much they were costing me, and the exact steps I took to escape. This isn't about extreme couponing or depriving yourself of everything you love. It's about being smarter and more intentional with your money so you can finally step off that treadmill and start building the financial future you actually deserve. Alright, let's get into the first and maybe the sneakiest money trap of all, the subscription swamp. This is the land of set it and forget it, where tiny monthly charges quietly nibble away at your bank account until they've eaten a huge chunk of your income. Here's the trap: signing up for subscriptions is ridiculously easy. A free trial here, a new streaming service there, a cool looking app for a few bucks a month. It all feels so harmless. And these companies are masters of psychology. They know a small, recurring payment feels way less painful than one big purchase. They also know that once we're in, we'll probably just stay in. We forget, we get lazy, or we tell ourselves that classic lie: I'll cancel it later. My journey into the subscription swamp started innocently enough. I had Netflix, obviously. Then came a music streaming service. Then I signed up for a premium fitness app I was all excited about. I added another streaming service to watch that one show everyone was talking about. And then there was the gym membership. I told myself paying for it every month would be the motivation I needed to go. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. When I finally did my financial audit, I was horrified. I laid out every recurring charge from my bank statements. The list was long and, frankly, embarrassing. I was paying for 2 different video streaming services, a music app, a gym membership I hadn't used in 3 months, and 2 productivity apps I'd downloaded on a whim and completely forgotten about. Let's do the math, because this is where it gets really painful. My streaming services were about $18 and $14 a month. The music app wasn't the $13 a month. The gym was a bargain at $20 a month. And those 2 forgotten apps, about $5 each, so another $10 a month. Individually, none of them seemed like a big deal, but added up, I was spending a staggering $75 every single month on autopilot. That's $900 a year. Just gone. And I know I wasn't alone. Studies show the average person wastes hundreds of dollars a year on subscriptions they've completely forgotten about. The fix for this trap is simple, but it takes a little discipline. I call it the subscription audit. Here's how you do it. First, pull up your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. Go through them line by line and highlight every single recurring payment. Don't skip anything, no matter how small. Make a master list. Second, for each one, ask yourself 3 honest questions. 1. Did I use this in the last 30 days? 2. Does this actually bring real value to my life? 3. Is there a free or cheaper alternative? Be ruthless. That app you thought was cool but haven't opened in 2 months. Gone. The streaming service you only use for one show. It's gone. You can always sign up again for 1 month if a new season drops. This strategy of staggering subscriptions is a great way to save as prices climb. Third, and this is the most important part, cancel them. Right now, don't put it on your to-do list. Log in and cancel. Companies sometimes make this intentionally hard, hiding the cancel button in a maze of minutes. Be persistent. A quick Google search for how to cancel usually solves the mystery. There are even apps like Rocket Money that can help you sniff out and cancel these things. So what did I do? I cut everything except one streaming service and my music app, which I used every day. I ditched the gym and started following free workout videos online and running in the park. I found free versions of the productivity apps. Just by doing this, my monthly subscription bill dropped from 75 to 31. That's a savings of 44 a month. Over a year, that single action saved me $528 settlers. That was the first big chunk of my 2000 goal, and it was the easiest money I ever found. This trap is all about paying for the idea of something. I was paying for the idea of being fit, productive, and entertained. By getting honest about my actual habits, I took that money back for my real goals. The second money trap is fueled by modern marketing, and it is dangerously powerful. I'm talking about impulse buys, specifically the ones triggered by discounts, flash sales, and the fear of missing out. Here's how it works. You're scrolling online or walking through a store, and you see it. A big red sign screaming 50% off, or a banner warning, lamented Timonos, your brain lights up, you feel a jolt of urgency, that classic FOMO, and you convince yourself that buying this thing right now is a smart money move. You're not spending money, you're saving money. That's the trap, right? The very effective, very expensive trap. Retailers are experts at creating this fake urgency to short-circuit the logical part of your brain, and it works. Some studies show impulse buys make up a huge chunk of what we spend, with the average American dropping hundreds a month on stuff they didn't plan to buy. That adds up to thousands a year. My personal kryptonite was Amazon's flash sales. I'd see a gadget, a new pair of jeans, or some kitchen tool I didn't know existed, and the discount was just too good to ignore. I had a closet full of just-in-case items. Jeans I bought on sale, just in case I lost a few pounds. A fancy vegetable spiralizer just in case I suddenly decided to become a person who makes zucchini noodles. A high-tech smart plug just in case I needed to turn a lamp on with my voice. These weren't huge purchases, maybe third or here, fifth or there. But looking at my statements, the pattern was clear. I was bleeding money on things I didn't need, all while telling myself I was a savvy shopper. I figured I was easily spending an extra $100 or $150 a month on these so-called deals. An unplanned purchase, even at a 50% discount, is still a 100% unplanned expense. Escaping this trap meant building a new habit. I implemented a strict rule that changed everything for me, the 24-hour rule. It's dead simple. Whenever you feel that urge to impulse buy something, you have to wait 24 hours. If it's online, add it to your cart, close the tab, and walk away. If it's in a store, take a picture and leave. This cooling off period is magic. It lets that initial rush of excitement and fake urgency fade away. Your emotional brain quiets down, and your logical brain finally gets a word in. It gives you time to ask the most important question. Do I really need this? Or do I just want it right now? And some follow-ups like, where am I even going to put this? Don't I already own something that does the same thing? What else could I do with this money instead? 9 times out of 10, after 24 hours, that burning desire is just gone. You realize you don't need another pair of jeans. Your current knives work just fine. And you've survived this long without voice-activated lamps. I even started a want list in my phone's notes. Anytime I wanted something non-essential, I'd add it to the list with the date and told myself I could buy it. But only after it had been on the list for 30 days. You know what I found? After a month, I almost never still wanted the item. By using the 24-hour rule and the want list, I basically eliminated impulse buys. Let's be conservative and say I was spending about $100 a month on this. Cutting that out saved me an extra $200 over the year. This was the single biggest savings for me, and it proved that the best deal is usually just keeping your money in your pocket. The feeling of control was way more satisfying than the fleeting rush of a random purchase. Section 3, the convenience tax, paying a premium for ease. The third money trap is a marvel of modern life. It promises to save you time and effort, but it charges a steep, often hidden price. I call it the convenience tax. This is the extra cash you pay for food delivery, ride sharing for short trips, and even pre-chopped vegetables at the grocery store. The trap is that convenience feels necessary in our busy lives. After a long day, cooking sounds exhausting. Ordering from DoorDash or Uber Eats feels like a small, deserved luxury. But that convenience is loaded with fees. You've got the delivery fee, the service fee, maybe a small order fee, and then the tip. On top of all that, restaurants often mark up their prices on these apps to cover the commission they have to pay, which can be up to 30%, so that a 15 burger can easily turn into a 25 or 30 expense by the time it gets to your door. I was a heavy user of the convenience tax. I probably ordered food delivery 2 or 3 times a week. It started as a treat, but it quickly became a habit. I'm too tired, I have nothing in the fridge, I deserve this. These were my excuses. I also fell for buying bottled water at the corner store instead of carrying a reusable one. and grabbing pre-cut fruit that costs double what the whole fruit does. When I looked at my statements, the numbers were just alarming. I was spending on average an extra $80 a month just on fees and inflated prices from delivery apps. And that's not even counting the base cost of the food. Add in the occasional convenience store stop, and I was easily paying over $100 a month in convenience taxes. That's another $200 a year easy. Breaking free from this is about shifting your mindset from short-term ease to long-term benefit. It takes a little planning, but the savings are huge. Here's what I did. First, for food, I finally tried meal planning. It sounds way more intimidating than it is. I didn't spend my whole Sunday cooking for the week. I started small. I just decided what I was going to eat for dinner for the next 3 days and make a grocery list for only those ingredients. This totally eliminated the what's for dinner panic that leads to opening a delivery app. Then I started batch cooking simple things. I'd make a big pot of chili, a batch of rice, or roast a pan of vegetables. This gave me ready-to-go parts for quick meals. Suddenly, making dinner at home was almost as fast as ordering delivery. A homemade meal might cost $4, while the delivered version was over $20. The savings are just astronomical. Second, I made a convenience kit. I got a reusable water bottle I'd fill up every morning, a travel coffee mug, and I'd toss a couple of snacks like a granola bar or nuts in my bag. This simple kit wiped out all those little convenience store purchases that feel small but really add up. I didn't ban food delivery forever. I just recategorized it. It was no longer my solution for being tired. It became a planned treat. Maybe once a month, my partner and I would decide to order in for a movie night. Because it was planned, it felt special, not like a moment of financial weakness. And whenever I could, I'd just go pick up the order myself, which instantly saves you from most of the fees. By drastically cutting my reliance on convenience, I conservatively saved about $180 per month. If that adds up to $106 a year. Combined with the first 2 traps, I was already way past my 2,000 goal. This taught me that a little bit of planning pays off, big time. Trading an hour on Sunday for almost $1,000 in savings is a pretty great deal. This next money trap is the most classic of them all, yet millions of us fall for it every day. It's the daily habit drain. This is the death by 1,000 cuts. I was talking about where small, repeated purchases add up to a fortune. The most famous culprit, of course, is the daily fancy coffee. Here's why this trap is so powerful. The cost is tiny. What's $5 or $6 for a latte? It feels insignificant. It's a little reward, a morning ritual. Because the purchase is so small and frequent, we never stop to do the math on its long-term impact. My daily habit drain was, you guessed it, a morning latte. I worked near a cool coffee shop and every morning I'd stop in for my usual. It was part of my routine. It was also costing me about $5.50 a day. Sometimes I'd grab a pastry, pushing the total to over $8. Let's just look at the coffee. 5 days a week, that's at $27.50 a week, about $110 a month. That's $320 a year on coffee. When I first calculated that, I felt sick to my stomach. I was spending over $1,000 on something I could make at home for pennies. A good bag of coffee might cost $15 and make dozens of cups. We're talking less than 50 cents a coffee at home. This trap isn't just about coffee though. It could be your afternoon soda from the vending machine, your lottery ticket, or that pack of gum you always grab at the checkout. These are the little leaks that can sink your whole budget. Escaping this trap is all about awareness and substitution. You're not cutting out the habit, just changing how you do it. First, track these micro expenses. For 1 week, write down every single thing you buy. At the end of the week, add it all up. Seeing you spent a 4-day on coffee and snacks in just 1 week is a powerful wake-up call. Second, find a cheaper substitute. For me, this meant buying a decent coffee maker and a travel mug. I started brewing my coffee at home. It took an extra 5 minutes, but it saved me over $1,000 a year. I even got some flavored syrups to make my home lattes feel just as special. The trick is to not feel like you're depriving yourself. If you love your morning coffee, don't just switch to water. That'll never last. Instead, replicate the experience in a cheaper way. Make the ritual at home enjoyable. Buy beans you really like. Find a mug that makes you happy. If your habit is an afternoon snack, bring snacks from home. If it's a daily soda, buy a case at the grocery store for a fraction of the cost. The goal is to break the link between the craving and the expensive, easy solution. I also used to take a ride-share home on tired days, even though the bus was just a few blocks away. That was an easy $10-12 expense. By committing to just taking the bus or walking, I saved another $40-50 a month. Between the coffee and the lazy ride shares, I found at least $120 in monthly spending I could cut. Over the year, that was a staggering $1,440. This simple change saved me more money than any other adjustment, and it barely felt like a sacrifice. I just had to be conscious of the true cost of my daily routines. The final money trap is one that makes my blood boil because it feels like getting robbed in plain sight. It's the hidden feast. where banks quietly suck money from your account through a bunch of small, confusing charges. This trap works because who really reads the fine print? We just assume basic banking should be free, but so many accounts come with a menu of potential fees. Monthly maintenance fees, overdraft fees, out-of-network ATM fees, you name it. They seem small, 3 to use the wrong ATM, a 12 monthly fee, but it's a constant drain. I used to have my checking account at one of those huge traditional banks. I thought it was fine, but when I was doing my financial deep dive, I started noticing these little charges. There was a $3 fee here and there for using an ATM that wasn't in their network. It was infuriating. I was being charged a fee to access my own money. Then there was the monthly maintenance fee. My bank charged at $12 a month unless I kept a minimum balance of $1,500. There were months my balance would dip below that for just a day or two and boom, fee. I was being penalized for not being rich enough to let cash just sit there. And of course, there were a couple of times I messed up and overdrafted my account. The fee was a painful $35, so a $5 coffee could instantly become a $40 mistake. It's a system that punishes people for being in a tight spot. When I added it all up, I was paying my bank between $20 and $30 a month on average for the privilege of holding my money. Let's call it on $25 a month. That's as $300 a year I was giving away for nothing. Escaping the hidden fee heist is one of the most empowering things you can do. It's about choosing to work with institutions that actually respect you. Here's how. First, become a fee detective. Grab your last 6 months of bank statements and a highlighter. Go through and highlight every single fee. Add them up. Knowing how much you're losing is all the motivation you'll need. Second, fire your bank. Seriously. If your bank is charging you monthly fees or ATM fees, it's time to leave. There are tons of online banks and local credit unions today that offer truly free checking with no monthly fees and no minimums. Many even pay you back for ATM fees you get from other banks. Switching banks sounds like a huge pain, which is exactly what the big banks are counting on. But it's easier than you think. You can usually open the new account online in under an hour. Then, you just have to update your direct deposit and any automatic bill payments. Make a list of all your auto pays and update them with your new info. Keep the old account open with a few bucks in it for a month or two just to catch anything you missed. Then close it for good. I switched to an online bank with no monthly fees and full ATM fee reimbursement. I also set up low balance alerts that text me if my account drops below 100. This simple alert means I'll never accidentally overdraft again. By making this one change, I saved an average of $300 a year. It might be the smallest amount of the 5 traps, but it was the most satisfying. It wasn't just about the money. It was about taking a stand. Your bank should be a tool that helps you, not a leaky bucket that constantly drains your funds. So let's recap this journey and add it all up. For years I was stuck, not realizing my own habits were my biggest problem. By finding and getting rid of just 5 everyday money traps, I completely changed my financial life. First, we tackled the subscription swamp. By auditing my recurring payments, I saved $520 in 1 year. Next, we confronted these just-in-case impulse buy. The 24-hour rule helped me cut out wasteful spending, saving an estimated $200 for the year. Then we took on this convenience tax. By planning my meals and ditching the delivery apps, I clawed back another $960 a year. After that, we plugged the leak from this daily habit drain. Swapping my daily coffee and lazy ride shares for cheaper options saved me an incredible $44 annually. And finally, we fought that there's hidden fee heist. By firing my old bank, I kept that $300 in my pocket. When you add all of that up, the total savings comes to a grand total of this $440. I know the title of this video says I saved $2,000, and that's because when I started, that was my goal. I was being conservative and honestly didn't realize how much these little things were costing me. The reality completely blew my expectations away. Even if you only fall into a couple of these traps, or your spending is half of mine, saving $2 in a year is completely possible. This whole journey has been about so much more than just saving money. It's been about reclaiming control. It's about going from being a passive consumer, constantly pushed around by clever marketing and hidden fees, to being an active, conscious person in your own financial life. The power is in your hands. You don't need a finance degree or a huge salary to start building wealth. You just need to be aware. You need to be intentional. You need to look at where your money is going and ask, is this actually making my life better? I hope my story has inspired you to do your own financial audit and find the money traps that might be holding you back. This isn't about feeling shame for past mistakes. It's about empowerment for a better future. Now, I want to hear from you. This is a community, and we can all learn from each other. What is the #1 money trap you've fallen into? Or what's the best money saving change you've ever made? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience could be the exact thing someone else needs to read today. And if you found this video helpful and want more practical advice on taking control of your money, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really does help the channel and gets this video out to more people who might need it. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, financial freedom isn't some distant dream. It's just a series of small, smart choices that you start making today. You can do this.